Hi guys, welcome to True Crime Wine Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. I'm trying my darndest to get this out today, which is Wednesday, but I have a feeling I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. I am Sherrilyn and I am so glad you found me. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you for coming every single Wednesday or Thursday or Friday to hang out with me. You guys mean the world to me. I love and I appreciate you so much. I'm gonna do my best to get this out Wednesday. There's just so much going on right now in our personal life and I'm trying to figure out what it all means. Very overwhelmed. I know there's a reason for it. I'm just trying to figure out what it is. In a nutshell, it still has to do with finding a housing situation and you just cannot make up the stuff that's been happening to us. I don't know. Anyways, it'll figure itself out. We're going to get right into it today, but before we do, I'd like to say muchas gracias a nuestros sponsor, Babbel. I already told you guys, just because we're not in Mexico anymore doesn't mean my goals of learning Spanish are going anywhere. We are planning on going to the Dominican Republic with our friends in December, so I'm excited to put my skills to the test again. I've also realized that knowing a little bit of Spanish here and there is coming in handy even at home. I was feeling pretty great about myself when we were reading off an authentic Mexican menu at a restaurant. I mean, obviously they have the subtitles underneath, but I didn't need them. I knew which dishes were pollo or chicken or pescado, fish. And I also know how to ask for la cuenta, por favor. Super exciting stuff. Like I've said before, though, Babbel makes it so easy. The fact that I'm able to go at my own pace and learn a whole new language and do these courses in less than 10 minutes to fit into my routine and everything that we got going on right now is just awesome. Mi amigo es de Colombia. Mi amigo es de Colombia. And one thing that I really love that they include also is that they will teach you FYI tips about the culture that you're learning about. And they also teach you actual useful everyday conversation pieces and phrases. They'll also even incorporate some slang just so that you don't sound too rigid. I know a lot of you have been interested in learning a new language or brushing up on a language that you're already familiar with. And now is a really great time because they are now offering a 20-day money-back guarantee. And then an added bonus on top of that is if you click the link in my description, you also get an additional 65% off your subscription. It's such an amazing deal for what Babbel offers, and I couldn't be more thankful for them wanting to partner with me again and offering this for you guys. You guys will have to tell me what you're wanting to learn or what you're brushing up on, even if it's just so that you can order a taco and feel confident doing it. Thank you so much again, Babbel. All right, quick note before we get started today. I just wanted to let you know I came across this case about a week or 2 weeks ago. I instantly wanted to share it with you guys. And then about 3/4 of the way through, I went on YouTube. I think I was going on this girl's channel that we're going to talk about today. And I realized that Danielle Christie did this episode not too long ago. And for whatever reason, it never showed up when I first checked. I like to just give a quick check about the person I'm going to be searching. And then if anything pops up on YouTube from other fellow true crime creators, I don't want to oversaturate the same story. I like to keep it fresh for you guys. So yeah, I'm really sorry. I don't know what happened there because she's got great views on it. So it's it should have showed up for me the first time, but it didn't. Anyways, I haven't seen it yet because I don't like to watch it. I'm going to do the same case and then just subconsciously deliver the same thing to you guys. So I hope this is new enough if you guys have seen that one. That being said, grab your drinks, grab your snacks, your keyboards, your dish rags, your bubble bath. Today I'm having a much deserved glass of J-Lore. We are in winter season, so if you've been here for a while, I switch my wine up for the seasons. I go hard for the red when it's winter and fall, and then I love a rosé or a little prosecco or a dry white wine during summer and spring. So it's winter season. All right, riddle time. Thank you, Bethany, for sending this one to me on IG. A man stands on one side of a river, his dog on the other. The man calls his dog, who immediately crosses the river without getting wet and without using a bridge or a boat. How did the dog do it? All right, today's case takes place in Titus, Texas. Wow. Today's case takes place in Titus, Texas, and I nailed that. Sorry. I guess this is a really small town in Texas. I kind of got the feel that it was somewhere where like everybody knew everybody there. Doesn't take a lot of time for word to travel fast, and that's exactly what happened on February 20th, 2015, when one of their own was kidnapped from his bed in the middle of the night, and it turned into a race against time to try and save Ernie's life. Ernie's kidnapping first comes to light when his wife, Samantha Wolford, as she's tied up, manages to wriggle her way to her cell phone and frantically dials her mom with her nose. When she answers, Sam's on the other line. She's freaking out. She's trying to get the words out to say, Ernie's just been kidnapped and I'm tied and gagged. But her mom can barely understand what she's saying, on top of the fact that she's like tied up, gagged. Also, it's not registering because like Ernie's the last person in the world that anybody would expect somebody to come in his home and kidnap him. Ernie was just like a really sweet, easygoing guy. He was a Christmas baby born on Christmas Day in 1985 to his dad, Ernie Sr., and his mom, Randa. He also had a younger sister named Tiffany. I couldn't find too much about his family. What I could gather from family members on social media about Ernie's father, Ernie Sr., was he just seemed like a really fun guy. Everyone seemed to love to be around him, had a story to share about their time with him, and went to him a lot for advice. Ernie's parents' relationship, it didn't last, and Ernie Sr. remarried a woman named Elaine, but it sounds like Elaine loved Ernie and his sister just as much as she loved her own child that she had with Ernie Sr. named Abby, and the kids all got along well, and you'd never know that they were like half brother and sister, or that Elaine was their stepmother. Those who know them say they are described as just like a big happy family. It's the house that everybody liked to be at. Anytime you were there, you knew it was going to be a good time. Lots of laughs, good memories. And Ernie was just a really good kid. My impression was that the family liked to like entertain and stuff like that, and Ernie was just a little bit more reserved. He was described as a bookworm. I came across a story where his sister said that he actually used to get in trouble for reading too late at night, so he would get grounded from books. He's also described as really quiet and very smart. He's the type of kid who would take a computer apart for fun. A computer apart for fun and then rebuild it. He loved doing that type of thing. So in college, he ended up getting some like computer and technology tickets. For fun, he would much rather stay at home, be online, game, as opposed to going out and partying. So in 2008, he met a girl named Samantha Wolford on Facebook, I think. Trying to think of the era right there. When did Facebook open? I know it's probably not important to the story, but you know me, I gotta know. Facebook came out on September 26, 2006, so I'm willing to go with like MySpace or Nexopia, just to paint a picture. Samantha immediately caught his attention because she had this like fire engine red hair, and she was outgoing, so they formed like an online friendship pretty quick. She was born on August 28th, 1989, and her family describes her as the nurturer of the family. She was the oldest of 3 siblings and was like, you know, mini mama to the kids. I think it was like one of those situations where her family was like, oh, like look at her take care of the kids, like she's born to be a mom. So when she's 19 and she gets pregnant with her high school boyfriend, no one's too concerned like about her capabilities of raising a child, which is good because not only was she about to raise 1 child, but 2 because they were having twins. I guess her and the twins' father were together for about 2 years, but she didn't see like a sustainable future with him, so the relationship ended. For work, she took newborn photos, so again, just like still invested in the little nuggets, and also sold some Mary Kay on the side to make like some extra cash. And then in January 2008, when the twins are only 18 months old, that's when she meets Ernie online. Her mom describes him at this time kind of like maybe in like a dark phase where he was like rocking like the long black trench coat, like all of the black clothes and like the long black hair, and she thought that like Sam's appeal to him was that, you know, like he was like very mysterious. She had to figure him out. For a while they were just like chatting, flirting online, and she talks about this time they were going back and forth for a while and it just came up that they should probably meet, and she describes this as being very terrifying because she had never met anybody from online before, and she always hears about girls that meet somebody and then they get killed, but she went anyway. She talks about this in a video, and I don't know, you guys can let me know if you absolutely like hate this idea. I wanted to watch it with you guys just because it's like very rare that we get to like see the people we're talking about like actually talking about what we're talking about. So this is her describing the best day of her life.
All right, anyway, so the best day to this point was I met my best friend on Facebook. And I started talking to him on Facebook, and...
Oh, it was Facebook. How did she get on Facebook? Oh, it was 2008 and Facebook opened 2006. Well, duh. What was I doing with the math in my head there? So Facebook had been around for 2 years. God, Sherrilyn, idiot. Sorry about that, you guys. Carry on.
Laughing and joking and all that good stuff. And he decided to come and meet me. That was really scary. I was terrified because I had never met this guy. We switched pictures and all that. I mean, he talked to me. He spoke to everybody in my family. Everybody in my family knew who he was, all of that. So it wasn't really, he was basically family, but we had never face-to-face met, which scared the hell out of me because I don't meet people online. I see all these stories about women meeting people online and them getting killed. Yeah, I was freaking out. And I don't know what that did. I don't know that I like it. So he decided to come visit, and I was nervous. I was so nervous, but I gave him my address. I really did want to meet him. I wanted to, but I didn't want to,
Okay, note to anybody meeting, don't give your address.
And he came and he visited. And when he got there, we didn't know what to say to each other, so it was like this awkward smiling at each other, like hug, half hug, because, we really didn't know each other. He knew who I was as a person on the inside. Then kind of the setting lowered down and lightened up. We all had fun and partied and talked, and he begged me to ride with him and take some hitchhiker he picked up home, which creeped me out, but I went with him because
What the fuck? Gosh.
the hitchhiker, the hitchhiker actually was a guy in the same town I lived in, and he was like a friend of a friend, so I knew who he was, but it was still kind of awkward that he was picking up a hitchhiker. So I was like, well, maybe this guy isn't exactly what he said he was. So that made me nervous. And then getting in the car with him made me nervous because I didn't know him, even though we had talked all that time,
I'm literally hyperventilating right now. Like, what? These are terrible decisions.
But he was in my town and on my turf, so I wasn't too worried about it. So we got in the car and took his friend home, and then he started goofing off in his car and scaring the shit out of me, pulling sharp turns and stuff, because I've been in a couple of wrecks and it freaks me out. So on and on. It was 4th of July weekend, so the 4th of July he was there, and we'd all gotten very comfortable with each other and everything because we'd picked on and played with each other all night long. And then I introduced him to my kids. And on the 4th of July weekend, he played with the kids. He freaked out over everybody having fireworks around the kids. And I mean, he was just so everything to do with the kids. It was all about the kids. And that made me fall in love with that man to death because he made their 4th of July amazing. He made my 4th of July amazing. He held me and all of that while the fireworks were going off, and helped me chase kids down, even though everybody at the fireworks display was family. He didn't know half of them, and our extended family is Hispanic, and some of them don't speak English, and there's a long story on how I'm related to them, but what it boils down to is I'm related to him, and he terrified him to death to have all these non-speaking Spanish people running around, picking up the kids, and lighting fireworks near them. And
what does them not knowing how to speak English and only speaking Spanish have anything to do with chasing children and lighting fireworks. Like, why does that make them more dangerous? What are you talking about, Samantha? And I'm pretty sure, like, Ibarra, is that not like a Spanish, like a strong Spanish last name? His dad looks very like Hispanic.
So he didn't know anything about them or anything, and he was very, very overly protective. And he became a big part of my life after that. Things messed up here and there, of course, but he still is my best friend, and he wants to adopt my kids. He wants to, he doesn't like the fact that their father's not on the birth certificate, so the void on the birth certificate really bugs him, and he wants me to allow him to put his name there. And I mean, he really is. He's just the greatest person ever. I love him to death. So let me know what y'all's is, because I'm really interested. I know everybody has a different take on what makes a good day and stuff, so tell me about your best day. You can leave a video response or a comment or a private message even. But I really do want to hear about my subscribers' best days. Alright? Please do that for me. Thank you so much.
Okay, a few things here. I mean, I struggle because like it's like I'll revert back to like her sign off there because it'll give you like a really good idea of like kind of like where the channel was going. So they meet, obviously she thinks he's wonderful. The impression there is that, you know, like they met and like everything all of a sudden he took over in the kids' lives and stuff like that, but his family describes it as like quite different. I guess it was quite casual for a while. They didn't rush into like this like committed relationship and like never spent a day apart after that first meeting. I think it was that way for about a couple years, and they were opposites too. So as much as that can work well for some people, it can also take some time to like figure out that it can work well for people. He was quiet and chill. She's much more outgoing and outspoken. So over time, they just naturally kind of brought out those sides out in each other. And it sounds like it just naturally kind of like put them in a relationship. His family said they were very in love. They weren't shy to admit it or show their affection. If they wanted to like steal a hug and kiss in front of people, they were okay with the PDA. And like we heard her describe, his family also said that Ernie was very proud to like take on being a parent and helping Sam with her kids and just really like embrace that like patriarchal role. So in 2011, he got the chance to be promoted from step-parent to father of his own. Sam got pregnant again, and it was another set of twins. They had a baby girl and a baby boy. I think those are like goals, you know, like if you're gonna have like two right off the bat, like a boy and a girl is like ideal. That's really what like my husband would have loved. Twins scare me though. Like everybody who has twins, I am obsessed with your strength and power. Like you are bred a whole different way to be able to like conquer that world. And it sounds like Ernie was too. Like this didn't scare him at all. If anything, it made him step up to the plate even more and be like the best parent and support for Sam that he could. For work, he got a really good job at a company called DBAT, and I guess he was the person who programmed the laser machine that would like engrave the bats. It sounds like it was a really hard job, but it was perfect for him because it allowed him to like apply all of his like intelligence and knowledge in technology in a career. I mean, I guess that's the goal, do what you love. I think this would have been like a really great paying opportunity for a young family just starting out, but Ernie needed to pick up a second job because it was already 6 of them. 2 sets of twins, him and Sam, so he got a second job to help make ends meet at Little Caesars. And Samantha said that she wanted also to contribute to the bills and the household, and she thought a really good way to do that would be to combine her love of being like an actress and entertaining while still being able to stay home with the kids by starting her own YouTube channel. She started her channel on October 5th, 2010, and she named it Simply Manic 6075. Her first video was uploaded on November 15th, 2010, and it's kind of like a video where she's talking about a case where children died from CPS neglect. And then the next video is about a year later. It's on November 18th, 2011. So, I mean, the consistency, girl, if we're going to start a YouTube channel, we need to be much more consistent. And then this video is about her venting about a wedding that she was just at, I think for like her best friend. It sounds like some some people like looked at her like a wrong way, and so she came on to vent about it. And then there's a lot of just like the kids, like this is what we do, like we're playing make believe. Then she shares her thoughts on like toddlers and tiara. Next video after that is like her application to be Maxim Gamer Girl. I'm assuming there was a contest. Then she talks about the Ian Somerhalder Foundation. So a lot of it is just her talking about very random things. It's almost like she was kind of using her channel as like a journal of sorts. So just scrolling, you can just tell like she was kind of all over the place, didn't really know like what direction I think like where she wanted her channel to go. I think she just wanted to connect with people and be known. But her channel really wasn't getting any views. Not surprising when you're taking like a year between uploads, and then just like the randomness in between, which you could see in that first video where it was like, okay, like please comment. Please do that for me. And I mean, this is not anything that like is new when you're starting a channel. I had you guys ask a bunch of questions about starting a channel because it's like the main thing that I get asked. So I am working on that for you guys. But basically, like everything you don't want to do is like on this channel. You could tell that she really did enjoy it though. She liked sharing about herself. Her family said that she always wanted to be famous. So I think she thought that this was a really good opportunity for her to try to make those dreams happen while she's just at home. But the problem was I think she had like mapped it out to her family and Ernie saying, you know, like if I do this, like I'm gonna make so much money, I'm gonna be famous. And after a couple years, it wasn't getting there at all. So tensions were getting really high, especially because Ernie just wasn't into it. Even her mom said that she wasn't really sure about the whole situation. She said she understood that her daughter was passionate about something and she liked that for her, but it consumed a lot of her time and was starting to take over her whole entire life and leading her just to kind of like neglect her kids and her husband because all of her attention was on this channel. She also overshared a lot about her personal life, problems that like her and Ernie were going through. And I mean, if both parties are comfortable with that, that's one thing. But when you have somebody who's very quiet and private, it's not really fair. And that is exactly how Ernie felt about the channel. He started feeling like a lot of their problems were because of the channel. So he reached a breaking point in the middle of 2012 and he left. As I'm scrolling, I just saw this video, 15 weird things about me that she put. So I haven't watched this yet. I want to watch it with you guys and see like if this is like what he's kind of like talking about oversharing.
Hey guys, I was asked to do a video 15 weird things about me. So, number one, I have twins. Every time I get pregnant, I have two sets of twins. I have a set of girl twins and then a set of boy-girl twins. And my doctor says if I have any more pregnancies, they'll always be twins. Like I can't have a single birth. I always have twins. Number two, I eat really strange foods. I'm a very picky eater, but I eat really odd foods. Like, I freaking hate hot dogs. And I was at my friend's house, and I was kind of living with her, and we were really broke and had nothing in the house to eat. All we had was hot dogs, and I freaking hate hot dogs. So I put peanut butter, chocolate, syrup, relish, mustard, the whole 9 yards on it to try and mask the flavor of the hot dogs, and I ate it. And everybody sat around staring at me going, oh my god, she's not going to eat this. My friend popped off and said, oh my god, it's like a train wreck. It's disgusting and you don't want to watch it, but you can't look away. And she sat there. She honestly didn't think I would eat it and watched me eat the entire thing, totally grossed out. Number three, I sleep strange. Like, I'm obsessive. I have to look good when I go to sleep or I will not sleep good. If I know my eyeliner's messed up, like if I wash my face and I smear eyeliner across my face, I will not be able to sleep unless I wash that completely off. Or if I go to sleep with makeup on, I have to make sure it's all perfect. I can't sleep. Like if I'm at a friend's house or whatever and don't bring my Proactive crap to wash my face, if I know I have a little smudge of eyeliner or my eyeshadow or something is messed up, I have to fix it to go to bed. It's really weird. I don't know. I just sleep better if I know I look good. Number four, I am completely obsessed with vampires. I think they're amazing and beautiful and awesome, and like I love vampire movies. Of course, I'm not a big Twilight fan. I don't like Twilight, but I'm totally obsessed with vampires. Number five, I am a complete makeup addict. I own probably half of the brands of makeup in the world, at least one item from their collection. I probably have $4,000 invested in makeup. I am obsessed with like strange styles, neon colors, dark colors.
Just some thoughts, like, why didn't you go for like the beauty channel niche then? You know, like, especially in this era, like there weren't a lot of them. It seems like, you know, beauty is definitely like a big thing for her, so that would have been a great place for her to be.
Whatever mood I'm in is what I'll wear. I don't have a specific style or anything of makeup. If I'm in a good, like, happy, bright mood, I'll do, like, a rainbow effect on my eyes. If I'm in, like, a darker mood that day, I'll wear, like, real darker eyeshadows and stuff. I'm just obsessed with makeup in general. Number 6, body modifications. I think are amazing. Like, I'll sit and watch YouTube videos of people getting their tongue split. Suspensions. I've always wanted to do suspensions, but I have a full back piece, so the scarring would totally screw up my back piece, and I would freaking flip shit over that. So I'll never be able to do that, but it's something I always wanted to do, and then I ended up getting my back piece and screwing that up. And I always wanted to have a corset, I'm not real sure, I can't remember how to pronounce that word, but I always wanted one, and then ended up getting a back piece, so it would totally screw it up. Can't get that done either, but I think they're beautiful. Number 7, my hair color. I've got like Ariel red hair right now. It's of course soaking wet because I just washed it, but like I've had every color of hair you can think of. I've had blue, green, red, brown, black, blonde, pink, any color you can freaking think of. I've at least had one highlight of. Usually it's like this massive amount right around my face. Number 8, I'm one of the most opinionated people you will ever meet, and I freaking hate it when people sit there and, like, if I have an opinion on something and they want to argue my opinion, it pisses me off really bad. My opinion is my opinion. I don't care if the
Is that is that narcissism? I don't know.
facts prove me wrong or anything else. If I have an opinion on something, leave me the hell alone about it. Number 9, I'm a total shopaholic. I love to go shopping. I could be a personal shopper for freaking anybody. I can pick out styles for anybody. I pick out presents really well. I just like to shop. Number 10, my style. I don't really have a style. I've got preppy clothes, I've got goth clothes, I've got skater clothes, I've got it all. And I wear whatever mood I'm in that day. If I'm in a gothic mood, I'll wear the real dark clothes, the real flowing black skirts that are all fluffy and frilly and lacy. I don't really have a style. I wear what I feel.
Is it just me, or did she start to get like really aggressive all of a sudden? Like she's like upset with sharing this. It's like, here's some 15 facts about me, and she's like talking about them, and all of a sudden it's like, and I have a style, and don't even question what my style, I don't know what it is, like, and don't argue me on my opinion because it's my opinion even if I'm wrong. Why are you mad at all of a sudden at me?
Number 11, I am a complete cha-cha addict. Cha-cha is this texting service. I am obsessed with that. If you tell me I'm wrong on something, I will freaking cha-cha it and see if that is the case. I'm not just going to take it at face value that you're right. I'm not going to sit there and argue my point if I am wrong. I'll just cha-cha it and get the answer and then prove to whoever's around that I am either correct or incorrect. I can admit if I'm wrong, but it doesn't happen a lot. If it's something that I speak up on, I usually know a little bit about it. I don't just mouth off to be mouthing off. If I don't know something about something, I'll admit, I don't really know anything on the topic. Number 12, I'm a complete dreamer. I think that anything can be possible. Whatever your dreams are, if you work towards it, I think it's possible. And I am the biggest dreamer ever. I'm very free-spirited. I'm a total dreamer. 13, I'm obsessed with animals. Animal abuse pisses me off quicker than anything, and I've got a short temper. If I see somebody kick a dog or hit a dog and the dog's lashing out and they're getting pissed off and hitting them, I will flip the hell out. If I see that somebody's not feeding their animals correctly, I will fucking freak. I am obsessed with, making sure an animal is being taken care of the way it deserves to be taken care of. They're like children. They can't take care of themselves. Number 14, I've always wanted to be an actress. I think it is so much fun. I've been extras in movies. I've had small parts in short films, and I've done plays. I think it is so much fun, and it is so beautiful. It is one of the most amazing forms of art ever, to be able to express yourself that way. I think it's amazing. And number 15, I'm obsessed with even numbers. If I'm flipping through and trying to change the volume on the TV, I want it to be on an even number. Or if I'm turning the radio dial, if it's got like the little bars, I want the bars to be even. Or, you know, if it's it's just like volumes. I'm obsessed with volumes being on even numbers. So maybe it's a little OCD thing I have. I just like even numbers. Okay, well, all right. I love you guys. Bye.
I don't know how I feel. I'm all over the place. Thanks for going on that journey with me. On top of what Ernie felt like was oversharing on her part, I think tensions were really high in the house because she shares that there was a fire that broke out and they were homeless there for a little while. So again, like that's got to be like a huge stress and probably like the tipping of a breaking point. So in the middle of 2012, he moved out. He was away for a few months, but I guess in early 2013, there was like an incident at the Walmart and Samantha was injured when a baby changing table fell on her. So she shares about this too. She says that she has to go see a chiropractor, but it's all like not really working because she has to still carry her children. She's not supposed to. She's not supposed to lift things. She was also supposed to be on bed rest, but she couldn't because she had to take care of the kids. So it sounded like she felt like she was in a little bit of a depression. Ernie's still working 2 jobs to still provide for his family, even though he's not there. So his sister would come over and help a lot around the house with just cleaning, cooking dinner, just entertaining the kids. And I'm sure just like her, you know, like relaying back some messages back and forth saying that Sam was feeling really overwhelmed. He didn't want her to feel like abandoned. He really didn't want like a bad situation for the kids. So he decided he was going to move back home. I guess they agreed this was going to be a fresh start. They were just going to clean the slate, start new. And it seemed to be going well, so well that they actually had another baby. This was a single baby though. Remember when she said she only has twins? This was a single. She talks about it a bit on her channel and she admits that she's not really stoked on the news. This is probably part of like where Ernie feels uncomfortable, but this is what she's got to say about finding out she's having another baby.
I've decided to do I guess, pregnancy vlog. I took a pregnancy test last night and it came back. I couldn't tell whether it was positive or negative. The marks on it was so light. I honestly thought it was negative. Right now is not a good time for me to be pregnant. Not to mention I was taking birth control. So I didn't think it could be positive. But it freaked me out nonetheless. And I had a few people look at it and they couldn't tell either if it was positive or negative. So I bought some of those clear blue pregnancy tests that say pregnant or not pregnant so you can tell for sure. And that's a little, yeah. No, I'm not exactly excited about this. Have been on birth control. I've already ended up in the emergency room. I only found out yesterday that I was pregnant. And I ended up, well, I guess it was the day before yesterday, I found out I was pregnant. Yesterday I ended up in the emergency room because I had started spotting. And they did tests at the ER. They also did a sonogram, and the sonogram came back very, very weird looking. They couldn't explain it to me. Basically, everything they said was just, hey, go ask your doctor. And I haven't even gotten a doctor yet. It's that, it's that soon. So we're not sure what I'm having. The dad's not excited either. This was not planned at all. But at the emergency room, they told me that I've been seeing a specialist, and they told me that the medicine specialist put me on counteracted the birth control, so the birth control hasn't been working. Which sucks, but, it is what it is. And then I have 2 sets of twins already. Had not planned on having any more, if ever, until they were at least all in school themselves, but I have 18-month-olds. Anyway, so yeah. I never thought I was pregnant. I had been kind of bloating, but I figured that was just because I was fixing to start. And I got all emotional, but again, I just put it off as, yeah, I was fixing to start. My cousin is 30 weeks pregnant, and she mouthed off something about me being pregnant. And I was like, no, there's no way. I'm on birth control. But I went ahead and got a test because she planted that little seed of doubt. And she was right. I'm not having any symptoms or anything like that yet, other than I'm really emotional and like a total crybaby. Everything anybody says to me makes me want to cry, but that's, you know, I guess pretty normal. Anyway, alright, I love you.
Okay, so I mean, from Ernie's standpoint, I get it. There are a lot of people who like share a lot of information. I share a lot of information. But I think like just in order to like make it work for everybody, you have to like respect your partner. I'm not sure how he would have felt about like hearing her being like, yeah, the dad's not excited either. Like, oh my gosh. From what Ernie's family has said though is, yeah, they were already going through a tough time around this time. You can definitely like just like feel that vibe from her that there's obviously added stress, like not just because she found out she's pregnant. I'm sure there are like just like environmental factors going on too. But he told his family that he wasn't worried at all. He said he just knew that everything was going to work out. And when Sam has the baby, it's another little baby boy. And he said that it felt like the family was complete. Ernie's family said he was so proud to have another baby, and he was just very hands-on, very affectionate, just a really great dad. Unfortunately though, I mean, having another baby does add like more pressure and workload around the house. A lot of their arguments stemmed from Ernie feeling like she was putting the kids on the back burner so that she could focus on making videos for the channel. And he would say things like, you know, you're putting all of this time and effort into it, but it's not generating anything. Like it's not going anywhere. You've been at this for a while. Now, like the house and our family is suffering, and at what cost? And like I said, I mean, in terms of aspiration, you do need to treat YouTube as a full-time job if you want to make it, but you can't just like pump out random content, use it almost like as your venting tool and film it on your iPad, you know? If that's all you want to do and just like have it as like a tool of like making you feel good and like a hobby, absolutely go for it. But if you want to like generate an actual income and have it be really successful, like unfortunately it just like it won't work that way. At this point though, Ernie just felt like he was talking to a wall, like saying those things, and instead of trying to, you know, find different ways to talk to her to like try to like make her see the light, he just poured himself into his own hobby, which was gaming. So now the way he was feeling about Sam putting all of her time into YouTube, she started being resentful, feeling like he was putting all of his time into gaming. On top of that, another source of their arguments was that Sam really wanted a commitment from him. She wanted Ernie to put a ring on it, which he did, and he just blew past the whole engagement thing. He ended up just straight marrying Sam, and I read that that was because he married like one of his avatars in his online gaming world, and she found out about this and was livid. Basically gave him an ultimatum like, okay, like you've married this avatar, not me, after all I've done for you. I mean, I'd be a little jealous too, I'm not gonna lie. So she was like, you know, I'm done, I'm leaving. And he was like, no, please don't leave. So he just married her. Big changes for him that week. 2 marriages. Not surprising, marriage didn't solve their problems. They were all still right there. And it was becoming a really toxic environment. It almost felt like they were doing things to like spite each other and get under each other's skin. I did come across a video that kind of like shows that a little bit. We'll watch it. So she labeled this one candid moments around my house, and like we already know like Ernie's not into this shit, so you can't help but feel like you're deliberately doing this just to aggravate him.
Wow.
Not gonna light a cigarette?
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Because you got that fucking iPad in your hands.
Oh, where?
At least you're paying attention. But only because it's a fucking hilarious ass episode.
What?
Yeah!
What episode is this?
4.
4.
Meister Marker. Something's familiar about that name. If I could just put my finger on it. Ah! Your mother was a Meister and you're... We did experiment. movements on my body. It's a lap wrap I was sleeping. And this went on for 5 years.
Wow, for 5 years? I can't believe you didn't notice anything.
I also want to mention she's got this like tagged as like he wasn't aware that I was filming. Okay, like he doesn't like it first. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like it's kind of like I guess like good for us to like be able to like see him and like be able to like further connect with Ernie. He seems so like precious. Don't you love that he like just like keeps like looking to make sure she's like watching the show? And he also brings up, you know, like, oh, at least you're paying attention this time. So clearly he was feeling like those moments were very like few and far between. Anyways, I just, you know, like when you're like trying to show like a friend or like your spouse episode or like something funny and you're just like always like watching them like to see if they're laughing. That's what I feel like he's doing. So yeah, there's that. I don't know what the point of it was. It was just like, here, I know you hate this, so I'm going to record you. So it sounds like those were the types of things that were being done on both ends, not just on hers. And then a few months into their marriage, she drops a bomb on both of their families and she starts like insinuating that things are getting physical at the house and that Ernie is abusing her. She'd like have like a bruise or something on her arm and she'd, you know, like show his sister and be like, yeah, your brother. And his family is just floored. Like they confront him because they're like, what the F is going on? It's so unlike him. And they just can't imagine or believe that he, you know, like is doing this and they're pissed. He completely denies it, although his stepmom said that he did admit that they did get into an argument once and there was like an empty cardboard box beside him and he like hucked it at her. And even though he wasn't trying to explain that it was wrong even to do that, he would never ever lay a finger on her. Around this time, she's also posting on her channel kind of like insinuating the same thing, you know, like back in the day where they had those videos with like the cue card that had a lot of traction, like almost like confessionals. So in there, she says that she'd been abused. And the assumption is that since those videos were something that was like gaining a lot of traction, that was her hope with her doing one. And then like having this story of being abused, like it would bring in more attention, which brings us to February 20th, 2015. Just over a year into their marriage, she comes across like the story time for the books for her channel when Ernie's kidnapped. It's around 2 a.m. and this is where Sam calls her mom, who's out on the town with her sister, and they had like, you know, like a night of fun dancing. They were outside having a smoke and all of a sudden her cell phone rings, and this is where like she can't understand what Sam is saying, but able to make out that Ernie's kidnapped and that she thinks she's hearing that Sam's tied up. So she's freaking out because she's still about an hour away from where Sam is, but her sister, Sam's aunt, lives about like 10 minutes away. So she calls her to go over. When she calls her sister, she's like, has anybody called 911? And realizes nobody had. So she calls 911, heads to the house and meets them there. There's audio and body cam footage of the 911 call of her aunt calling to report this and then them arriving. Let's watch it together.
I am untying her. I can't get the noise.
What is the victim's name?
Samantha Wolford. She's saying that they hit her husband in the face about 5 times and drug him out.
Police quickly arrive on the scene.
So walk me through what happened.
I don't honestly know what happened.
Okay.
I was in bed asleep.
Okay.
And we heard a noise, and the second I was able to open my eyes, somebody grabbed me and jerked me out of the bed and slammed me down on the ground and started tying me up.
Didn't recognize anything about...
They had black masks on, black shirts, black pants. Every inch of skin was covered. Then when they dragged me downstairs, because they had him downstairs and they were separating us, I went downstairs and his face was covered in blood.
Do you know what they were hitting him with?
A gun.
Did you hear him say anything else besides what you told us?
They said that it was because of his dad. And that
Because of his dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said his dad narked on someone and got their man thrown behind bars. And now they were taking revenge and taking someone from him.
Let's go back to the body cam footage from the night of the home invasion.
They took his phone.
So he's got his phone?
No, they have his phone.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, alright, this is what we need to do. I need to do an emergency phone ping. And I've got the cell phone number.
Can I call my mom back?
Yeah.
Are they getting anything off his phone?
They're trying to right now, so.
So far, nothing.
They haven't heard back yet.
There's cell phone ping 0.86 miles from a resident in Pittsburgh.
You know anybody in Pittsburgh?
Contact Pittsburgh.
So after she tells them what happens, they look around the house. They can clearly see that was a struggle. The front door was like crumbled in, but there wasn't anything taken. So they're trying to figure out, okay, like what was the point in just coming in and taking Ernie? Maybe when she had brought up that they mentioned his dad, this was like some like retaliation. So they've got a team driving out trying to find Ernie. When Samantha's mom finally arrives, they take her back to the station just to go over like a formal statement. She said it was a really normal day. They both kind of did their own thing during the day. She was out visiting a friend at the hospital who had just had a baby, and then they met back at the house, watched some TV, had dinner, hung out a little bit, and then went to bed. Then she goes over the whole attack again, and he's able to ask like some questions that some of the investigators back at the scene are like kind of like relaying back as they're looking at the scene, not really like feeling like things were adding up. Like they felt like there wasn't really a lot of blood for somebody who allegedly was pistol whipped like several times. And then they're like, you know, like how convenient that like there's no like identifiable marks on these people, you know, they were like just in black from head to toe. And one of the main questions they had was like, why did you call your mom first and not 911? So she said they had asked if she had a cell phone and she told them no. And the investigator's like, okay, well, how did you get to your phone? So she said she just like wriggled and got to the phone and then just used her face to dial like whoever was last on the call log, and it happened to be her mom. The investigators like, wouldn't it have been easier just to like dial 911 and try to like figure that out with your face? But she said like when she put her face to the phone, it just brought up her call log and her mom was the last person on it. Then he wants to know more about this whole like, I think it has something to do with Ernie's dad and somebody seeking retaliation. So they ask her what like the situation there is. And she's like, I hate to say it because I'm usually always right about these things. We've already seen that she's like usually already right about stuff. And she said his dad is always getting involved in things that he shouldn't, and that allegedly he snitched on somebody in like the drug world, and this was their retaliation. So the detectives leave, go and provide like more information to the people looking for Ernie. And while they're gone, there's like a whiteboard that's left in the room, and there's a camera pointed at it. And she grabs the marker and she just like casually writes, "Have you found my husband?" And then looks at the camera and is like, hello? Why is she always so angsty? Like, you just want to smack the look off of her face, because when the investigator comes back, it's like she hasn't even provided everything that she can to help the situation, because all of a sudden she remembers something new. Now she remembers that when she was at the hospital earlier on in the day visiting her friend, there was another guy there whose name was John Rebel, and they were having a conversation, and it had come up in conversation that Ernie had been physical with Sam, and he did not like hearing this. It really upset him. He said like, no man should put a finger on a woman. If you need somebody to do something about this, I'm your guy. Not only did they have this conversation, but this guy also had her vehicle, because the plan was that he was going to use it to pick up their friend the next day because he didn't have a car. So he was going to use Sam's to pick up the friend instead of Sam just using her own car to pick up the friend. So she's like, he's out there with my vehicle. Like, maybe he did it. Maybe Sam, maybe this information would have been useful yesterday.
Once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
Always have like a 2000s or 90s quote, you guys. So she pulls up her Facebook and they see that this John Rebel's real name is John Sanford. So the next day, the detectives go to the hospital knowing that the plan is for him to go and pick up this friend of theirs. And as the detectives are walking in, they see these two guys and one of them looks a lot like Jonathan. So they're like, hey, Sanford. And he just books it. They both book it actually in opposite directions. The police catch up to them really fast though, and they do realize that one of them is John Sanford and the other guy that he's with is his brother-in-law, who is a guy named Jose Ponce. So they bring them back to the station for questioning, and instead of like playing like the whole cat and mouse thing, Jonathan's like you got me. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. Here are the facts, boys. He tells them that he, his brother-in-law Jose, and another friend of theirs who is an ex-soldier named Octavius Rhymes were responsible for kidnapping Ernie. He says the same thing that Samantha does, that they were all at the hospital the day before and that she had brought up that she was getting beat up by her husband and he didn't like that. He said initially the plan was to grab meth and just like plant it in the vehicle and then like call in a tip and have him arrested for like having drugs on him. So they actually, when they left the hospital, go with Sam and her kids to go and like pick up these drugs. After that, I guess they went to the Walmart to grab some food, and then Samantha went back home and they left to like further discuss the plan. So I guess as these three guys are talking, the plan starts to shift and they're like, I think we should just permanently get rid of Ernie. Jonathan said that he called Samantha and said that the plan was switching up and they were going to beat him up bad instead. And then he said, actually, if you want to get rid of him completely, how about you leave the front door of your house unlocked and we will come and see if it's open. If it is, that's our cue as an invitation to come in and we will take care of him permanently. So she said okay, and then she also said that she was going to give something to the kids to help them sleep so that they wouldn't wake up easily. He said they went over to the house to see if that's what she wanted to do with the new plan, and the door was unlocked, so they went in. He shares all of the same details that Sam had shared about the break-in and kidnapping and said that they took Ernie to a remote area in Camp County. He said when they got there, the plan was for him to be the one to shoot Ernie. They were walking through this like wooded area, and I guess Ernie had tripped on like a stick or something. And Jonathan said before he even had a chance to stand up again, they hear a shot and Jose was standing there and he had just shot Ernie. Jose's in the other room and he's like, oh hell no, it wasn't me. He's trying to put everything on Jonathan. But they started leaning more towards John's version because he had admitted that he actually wanted to be the one to kill him, and then like Jose took that away and did that instead. So he's the one that they asked to bring them to his body. And when they find him, Jonathan's story seems to add up. There was clearly signs that he was in a vicious attack prior to being shot. It was obvious he was just like yanked out of bed too because he was only in his underwear. And then just like based on the position of his body, it did seem to line up with him like tripping and then being shot while he was down on the ground. They're arrested, but they can't really do anything with Sam at this point. They're like, okay, well, we don't really have proof that she like intended to kill him. You know, like telling people that he abused her for attention is one thing, but like actually being aware of a plan to eliminate him completely is something else. So they pull her phone records, always with the phone records. And sure enough, on that police footage, like of the body cam while they're there at the house, like right as Ernie was kidnapped, they find out that when that call was coming through that they were going to like ping the cell phone and that it was showing up that he was in Pittsburgh somewhere, she asks to call her mom. So she has her cell phone and she texted Octavius's number and told them to ditch the phone because the police were tracking it. So not only was she aware, but she had that opportunity to like pull the plug, like completely just like flip the script, being like, listen, like I changed my mind, or even like they're on to you, they're coming, you know, like just let him go. Because from what we know, based on what like Jonathan had said, they never said that Sam was involved to him. In fact, like he was begging for his life and begging for these guys not to hurt Sam or the kids. So it's not like they're like, oh, like Sam sent us here and we can't let you go because you're gonna rat on us and her. He didn't know who they were, so there was a chance for her to like get out of this, save Ernie's life, and she didn't. Not only that, but she's like they have my car, like here is the license plate to my car, something you can like dispatch across like counties to look for. And she like doesn't say anything until like hours later when she's at the police station, like, have you found my husband? Even though I'm not giving you any information to do so. So once they got those text messages, they were pretty confident that she was very well aware of what was going on. And on February 23rd, which was 3 days after they found Ernie, she was arrested and charged with kidnapping and murder. 3 days after that, on the 26th, Octavius is found and arrested. Jose and John ended up taking a plea deal and were sentenced to 50 years. Octavius and Samantha, though, they still maintained that they didn't know what the new plan plan was and decided to go to trial. They were both found guilty though. Octavius was sentenced to 75 years in prison and Samantha was sentenced to 99. She's still very much all about the attention. She's part of a website that I didn't even know existed called jailbabes.com. So it's a site where you can talk to jail babes. Since, you know, we're all about like going through things together, let's check it out. Jailbabes.com, women in prison seeking pen pals. Samantha, there's never a dull moment with me. I'm a caffeine addicted Mormon who loves to laugh and enjoy life to the fullest. I love to meet new people. It's always quite interesting getting to know people of all walks of life, so never think we'll be ill-matched. I'm not judgmental. I have a passion for anime, manga, cosplay, cosmetology, literature, gaming, and enjoy those I love. I enjoy the outdoors and nearly every animal. Cats being the best, obviously. LOL. I'm a bit of a nerd, but I'm fun. I'm trying to learn Spanish. I'm offended. And I'm nearly fluent in American Sign Language. Also something that I'd like to learn. I enjoy long conversations. I'm a bit of a talker. We know. The greatest gift anyone could ever give me will always be a book. I absolutely love to read. You know who else loved to read? Ernie. I work hard so I can play harder. Write me so we can play together. You won't be disappointed. So yeah, then it says in here like earliest release date 2040, maximum release date 2164. So there's that. To this day, the motive is still unknown. Some people feel it's like she wanted to have this like tragic story to like try to boost up her views. Another is that she might have found out that Ernie was planning on maybe divorcing her and she didn't want to get divorced and like risk having him take the kids. I don't know. From what I could gather, it sounds like the kids are with Samantha's family, and I came across a comment from somebody alleging that they were Ernie's mom, saying that the kids have been kept from them, which is just awful, like as if they haven't been through enough. I always hate when I see those situations, like when you've already experienced a loss and then it's like you're getting punished more, like there's like this divide. But you know, like having those kids in their life would at least bring some form of joy and connection to their son that they lost. So I really hope that they do get to see them. What a shitty sack of poop this broad is. Okay, that is it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. You know it means the world to me. I love and I appreciate you so much. And the answer to today's riddle, if you need a refresher, here it is. A man stands on one side of a river, his dog on the other. The man calls his dog, who immediately crosses the river without getting wet and without using a bridge or a boat. How did the dog do it? And the answer is that the river was frozen. So cute. Okay, I will see you in the next video. I will miss you terribly. Until then, make sure to love each other, love yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye.